Transformation begins with awareness, the Buddhist path to healing without drugs or stress. You are not broken, you are simply becoming. This is a profound teaching in Buddhism, a reminder that healing is not about returning to some ideal state, where there is no pain, no mistakes. Healing is not about erasing all the suffering or scars in our lives, but about becoming fully aware of who we truly are right in this moment. And it is within this awareness that transformation begins. Awareness, the first step in the healing process. The Buddha taught that ignorance, a lack of deep understanding about the nature of life, is the root of all suffering. When we are unaware of ourselves, when we live on autopilot, reacting to pain and pleasure without understanding the deeper forces at play inside our minds and emotions, we unknowingly continue repeating a cycle of suffering. Imagine you are driving without paying attention to the road, relying only on the autopilot of the car. You might be moving forward, but you don't know where you're headed, and it's easy to get lost on paths you didn't intend to take. This is how we live when we lack full awareness of ourselves. But the moment we wake up, becoming aware of our emotions, thoughts, and sensations, when we return to ourselves and see clearly what is happening within us, that's when healing begins. This is the essence of the Buddhist practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just a meditation technique, it's a way of living. When we practice mindfulness, we are fully present in each moment. Instead of being swept up by thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, we stop, observe them without judgment. We don't try to change or control them. We simply observe, feel, and understand them. In this space of awareness, we create an opportunity for transformation. By not reacting automatically to our emotions or thoughts, we allow ourselves freedom. When we are no longer controlled by unconscious reactions, we begin to change the way we perceive and handle situations. And it is within this awareness that the healing process unfolds, bringing deep understanding of ourselves and opening the path to peace and self-healing. When you practice mindfulness, you not only improve the quality of your life, but you also open the door to healing holistically, not just through external methods, but through a deep connection with yourself. Suffering doesn't always come from external circumstances. While we cannot control every event in our lives, there's one thing we can control: how we respond to those events. When we face suffering with resistance, anger, or avoidance, we inadvertently make the pain more intense. This opposition only keeps us bound to the pain, making it stick to our minds and bodies. It's like trying to push a large wave away from us. The wave only becomes stronger, and we're pulled further into it. However, when we greet suffering with acceptance, curiosity, and compassion, the pain begins to lessen. This doesn't mean we deny or ignore our pain. It's not about saying it's okay when we're truly hurting. Instead, it's about becoming fully aware of the feeling, without judgment, without immediately trying to change it. We face the pain with mindfulness and understanding. We allow ourselves to experience it fully, without worry, without running away. It is in this presence, in every sensation, every moment of awareness, that we begin the healing process. This is the power of understanding the source of suffering. Suffering is not the enemy we need to fight. It is simply a part of our life journey. When we change how we respond to suffering, we open the opportunity for healing from within. The cycle of suffering and transformation. In Buddhism, suffering is not an endpoint, but a part of an ongoing cycle. But here's the hopeful part: this cycle can be broken. The Buddha teaches us that suffering is not something we must endure forever. Instead, suffering is a part of existence that we can change when we understand the three fundamental characteristics of life. 1. Impermanence anicca. Everything changes, nothing is permanent. Everything, objects, situations, sensations, and states is temporary. Thus, pain is just a phase. When we understand that nothing lasts forever, we can more easily let go and not get swept up in the whirlpool of suffering. 2. Suffering dukkha. Pain and dissatisfaction are inevitable parts of life. This is a truth we must face and accept. However, Buddhism does not encourage us to resign ourselves to suffering as something unavoidable. In fact, this is the very opportunity for awakening and liberation. Suffering is not infinite. It is part of the process of growth and transformation. 3. Non-self. Anatta. The belief in the fixed, separate self is an illusion. We often think of ourselves as independent, unchanging entities. But the truth is, we are always changing and cannot be entirely separate from the world around us. When we realize that I am just a part of a larger cosmic flow, we stop clinging to the ego and witness suffering begin to diminish. Understanding these three truths is not about accepting a life of suffering. On the contrary, they are the keys to finding freedom. When we realize that suffering is inevitable, but it will pass, we stop clinging to it, and when we stop clinging, we also stop suffering. Thus, the cycle of suffering is not an eternal trap. It is a circle that can be broken when we awaken and understand the true nature of existence. When we stop clinging to emotions, thoughts, or difficult situations, we find peace even within our own pain. Healing with compassion. Buddha's call to love yourself. One of the core elements in the healing process is compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. Compassion in Buddhism is not pity or feeling sorry for ourselves or others. Rather, compassion is a deep awareness of the value and worth we all have, deserving of care, understanding, and kindness, regardless of the flaws or mistakes we carry within. In the healing process, when we face our pain with compassion, we don't deny or try to escape it. Instead of running from pain, we listen to it and care for it. Compassion teaches us that, instead of resisting or judging ourselves during difficulties, we can accept and embrace those feelings, so they no longer become waves that overwhelm us. When facing difficult emotions, compassion allows us to feel and understand more deeply what's happening in our hearts. Instead of trying to control or deny the pain, we listen to the messages that pain is bringing. And in this act of care and listening, we begin to find transformation. The Buddha taught that healing begins with self-compassion. When we truly love and care for ourselves, we not only heal ourselves, but also create peace and love in the world around us. Compassion is the bridge that helps us overcome challenges, understand ourselves more deeply, and reach a profound inner peace. Practicing loving kindness, metta. One of the most profound teachings from the Buddha is the practice of loving kindness meditation, also known as metta. This practice is not just a meditation technique, but a deep practice of loving kindness, offering blessings and love to ourselves and the world around us. The metta practice doesn't need to be complicated. We can perform it through simple and heartfelt well wishes such as, "May I be happy," "May I be healthy," "May I live with ease," "May I be free from suffering." However, what's even more important than just repeating these phrases is connecting deeply with the heart of the practice. When we say these words, we're not just uttering them. In truth, we're sending a prayer from our hearts, carrying genuine love and compassion. When we offer loving kindness to ourselves, we truly open our hearts to healing. We create an inner space where all wounds and pains can be comforted and soothed. This helps us not only find peace within ourselves, but also extend that same heart to those around us. When we expand loving kindness to others, we realize that all of us are connected through our shared experiences of suffering and joy. Each person is on their own journey, but we all share in the same feelings of sorrow, as well as moments of happiness and joy. And in this realization, loving kindness helps us connect deeply with one another. Practicing metta is not only a tool for healing ourselves, but also a way to extend love to the world around us, so that everyone can feel the peace and love from us. When we love ourselves and others, we create a powerful healing cycle, a circle of compassion that keeps spinning, spreading happiness and peace. The power of presence, healing through the present moment. In life, we are often pulled into worries about the future or regrets about the past. These thoughts can make us feel anxious and detached from the present. But the Buddha taught that the only moment that truly matters is the present. This is where we find peace. And it is here that healing truly happens. Mindfulness is the key to returning to the present moment. When we practice mindfulness, we not only become aware of our thoughts, emotions, and sensations, but we also observe them without judgment or desire to change them. Instead of trying to control everything, we learn to accept them as they are. It is in this process that the body and mind begin to heal naturally. When we fully embrace the present moment, we stop running away from pain. We no longer resist it, no longer fear it. We simply allow it to be. And magically, when we allow something to exist without resistance, it loses its power and impact over us. Mindfulness helps us face our emotions and pain without being overwhelmed by them. When we don't try to change, control, or escape, we create space for natural healing. Emotions no longer feel like torturous burdens or uncomfortable storms, but rather they become sensations, understandings, and valuable lessons. By focusing on the present, we not only heal our hearts, but we also build a healthy relationship with ourselves, free from prolonged fear or suffering. We can live fully in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. In this busy world, we often react to pain with fear or frustration. We fight against what we don't want, hoping it will disappear. But the Buddha teaches us that we have the power to choose. Between pain and reaction, there is a space. And in that space, we have the power to choose how we respond. This is where awareness becomes a healing tool. When we face pain with mindfulness, we stop reacting automatically. Instead, we respond with understanding, patience, and compassion. The more we practice, the more we shift from unconscious reactions to conscious responses. And this shift opens the door for healing to begin. Let me share with you the story of Anna, a woman who faced severe anxiety throughout her life. For many years, she lived in constant fear of what the future might hold, always worrying about what could happen. Her mind never stopped racing with worst-case scenarios, imagining the worst that could happen. Anna tried everything to escape this anxiety: therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, but nothing worked. She felt trapped in a never-ending loop with no way out. Then one day, by chance, Anna found a mindfulness meditation practice. At first, it was very hard. Her mind was flooded with chaotic thoughts and she felt worse than ever. But instead of giving up, she decided to keep going. Slowly, something miraculous began to happen. Anna started to notice a change within herself. Her anxiety no longer controlled her. Instead of being swept away by the whirlwind of fearful thoughts, she started to feel she could breathe freely again. One day, while meditating, Anna had a breakthrough. She realized that the very fear she had been running from all these years was not the enemy. The true enemy was her resistance to that fear. She had always tried to push it away, run from it. But it was that very resistance that made the fear stronger. When Anna began to face her fear directly, no longer trying to avoid or deny it, she felt a sense of liberation. Instead of fearing it, she learned to accept it, to observe it without resistance, and in this acceptance, she found freedom, healing through letting go. At the core of healing in the Buddha's teachings is letting go. Let go of control, attachment, and self-judgment. It's not about erasing the pain, but finding peace within the pain itself. When we are present, practice mindfulness, and offer compassion to ourselves, we truly begin the healing journey. To heal, we must recognize that suffering is not something to fear. It is a teacher. We must understand that illness is not a punishment, but an invitation to live more fully. Healing happens when we stop fighting the flow of life and embrace each moment, no matter how difficult. The path to healing is not a straight line. It is a journey of awareness, acceptance, and transformation. As we continue our journey to understand the Buddha's teachings, remember this: healing is a path, not a destination. It is a lifelong practice of being present with whatever comes our way and responding with love, compassion, and wisdom. Practicing mindfulness, compassion, and letting go are the foundations of healing. But the most important thing to remember is that healing starts with awareness. And awareness is something we can all practice. Before we end this video, I'd like to invite you to join in this conversation. Please share your thoughts on the healing journey you're currently on. What methods have you applied to heal yourself? How do you feel when practicing mindfulness, compassion, or letting go? We would love to hear from you, because this connection will help each of us understand more about the healing journey and continue to grow in life.